Deep in the desert, black choppers in a V-line. Wheels hit the dust, hear the cones in the feed line. Glass doors, keypads, fingerprints denied. But we crack the system, see the secrets in the deep files. They run in shadows, but we chase the sound. Footsteps echo through the underground. We ain't leaving till we break it down. The night crew's here, yeah, we holding ground. We see the lights in the sky, they try to keep it inside. But the truth don't hide, yeah, the truth don't hide. Like the gates closing blinds, but we're creeping inside. What goes bump in the night, what goes bump in the night.
Hello and welcome to What Goes Bump Tonight. I'm your host, Riley Clark, and alongside me, as always, is
Trevor Jensen.
And today we have a very fun topic. But before we get to that, we do have some potentially unfortunate news for tonight. Our special guest is in the midst of these storms, and power is going in and out. So
stay tuned.
stay tuned if you can actually join us or not. But it would have been Tommy Tombstone, just so you guys know, so you can keep him in your thoughts. And hopefully he makes it through this alive like all of us.
Yeah, everybody that's out there that is watching and the storms are in the midst of maybe some storms that are coming. Please be safe tonight. Make sure you watch your weather stations and watch your apps and make sure you are safe. And if you need to go to your safe space, get to it.
There's literally
don't walk.
7 massive tornadoes on the ground right now throughout the United States. So, yeah, we were watching them all live before this. So,
scary scenes.
Scary scenes out there. But let's talk about something a little more exciting and
a little less like sad, because damn it, Mother Nature really wanted to throw a curveball everybody today.
Yeah. We are still working on our next video.
Coming along nicely.
It's coming along very, very nicely. We'll hopefully have it for you very, very soon. And if you're new here and you like anything that goes What Goes Bump Tonight, make sure you hit that like and subscribe buttons down below and help us reach 1,000 subscribers, because we're trying to hit that 1K mark. You know, it's like a YouTube thing. And
please, thank you.
Without further ado, let's talk about our topic today, and that is
secret military installations that we do know and don't know about, but also are very, very synonymous with UFOs. Bah, bah, bah.
Maybe even, do we have any
UAPs, USOs? I think yes. There's the one at the end is a USO based, like, what do you want to call it? Base. Yeah, based base.
Let's go.
That's how we go.
That's hype, y'all. That's hype.
This is one of my favorite topics to be talking about. Aliens are near and dear to my heart. And I mean, did you guys watch the trailer? I hope you did, because if you did, you would know that I think me and Riley might have actually seen a couple UFOs on our last investigation.
I really think we
I'm convinced at this point that they were UFOs that we saw. So what better time to talk about this stuff than now? Why don't we dive on in?
You start with this topic, because this is one that you like a lot.
This one is interesting. So if you guys are big into the like World War II lore, and you know, if you've ever heard about the Arctic and the UFOs that were out there that were swastikas on the side of them, like this has to do
Nazis.
with all of that. Nazis. Fucking Nazis. Scalp them hard. Love that movie. If you've never seen Inglourious Bastards, you should. So there is, in World War II, Nazi Germany established several weather stations in the Arctic to support their military operations. So there is Weather Station Kurt. In October of 1943, a German U-boat, U-537, embarked on a mission to establish an automated weather station on the northern coast of the Labrador, Canada. The station, codenamed Kurt, was equipped with instruments to transmit meteorological data crucial for U-boat and I almost said naval, for naval operations in the North Atlantic. The crew installed the equipment and left it to operate autonomously. Remarkably, the existence of Weather Station Kurt remained unknown until its rediscovery in 1881. So this is just one instance of actual factual bases that at one point were secret bases that are now not
so secret,
but I don't think we're too far out of the realm of possibility where this whole like very extravagant one that I was talking about at the beginning, where it's like there is UFOs that they say were seen flying, and they had the swastikas on the side of them, and they basically like led another fighter jet not jet, like a pilot into the base basically. And there's a whole story that I'm pretty sure we'll get to in this, but there's another base called, okay, you want to give this one a go, dog? What do you think that one says? Gruber?
Butter says the Nazis' first expedition to Antarctica was in
1938.
1938.
Believe it.
Interesting. Schwarzgrabe.
Schwarzgraber?
Schwarzgrabe.
You read this one. You got this.
The treasure hunting station located on Alexandria Land in the Franz Joseph Land archipelago. The station was operational from 1943 to 1944. The crew faced extreme conditions and may have suffered trichinosis after consuming undercooked polar bear meat.
Oh, shit.
A German U-boat eventually evacuated them. And then in 2016, Russian scientists discovered remnants of the station, including documents and equipment providing tangible evidence of its existence.
See, once again, and not so factual secret base, now factual.
Well, I mean, if we're going to know about it, then it's not technically a secret anymore, but it was secret at one point. So, you know.
Very much so. Also, Patty, yes, it is Demon Slayer. Very much so, Demon Slayer. So, the next one that we have is Antarctic Base 211. Neo, this is another fun one. Schwabenland?
You don't pronounce every letter.
You don't?
No.
No. Silly goose. Words are hard.
Neo Shashbalan.
Okay, so some theories propose that the Nazis established a secret base in Queen Maud Land, Antarctica, referred to as Base 211 or Neo Schwabenland. These narratives suggest that the base served as a refuge for higher ranking officials and a site for advanced technology development. However, there is no credible evidence to support the existence of such base, which is more what I was talking about, where they were fucking using UFO and like backlogging that shit just to like, hey, I'm gonna go fly around in UFOs now.
Nazi UFOs. Post-war, various accounts emerged suggesting that Nazi Germany developed advanced flying saucer-like aircraft. Some claims involve the Vril Society, an alleged secretive group believed to have influenced Nazi ideology and technological pursuits. However, these stories were widely regarded as conspiracy theories without substantive evidence.
But like, so my thing is, we have Project Blue Book come out very recently saying, hey, there is actually a lot of credible evidence that is posed here that there have been very, very many dark, secret, service-like entities of the government that have been unregulated and have been doing this type of shit for a very, very long time. Why wouldn't they have been doing this during wartime back in World War II when it was the fucking cataclysm of the world?
Mm-hmm.
You can't even tell me that that's not even like that doesn't hold some weight in its own rights. Maybe it wasn't like legitimately they were using like alien spacecraft, but they were definitely developing like cutting edge technologies in these bases. And this is why there's like blacklisted places you cannot go in Antarctica. Everybody knows the next couple that we're probably going to talk about too. Like, anybody ever heard of Roswell?
So Roswell and the alien craft theory. The Roswell incident in July 1947 is central to Area 51's connection. The U.S. Army initially announced it had recovered a flying disc, only to later retract that statement, saying it was a weather balloon. Many believe the Roswell debris included alien bodies, which I believe in.
That's true.
Were secretly transported to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, aka Area 51.
Yep.
Some say S4 though.
Which S4 could also be its own entity in its own right. We don't actually know that.
Yeah, S4 is more like SPU.
I would think so.
SPC, I mean,
it's definitely more like more secretive than what Area 51 is. If everybody thinks Area 51 is the alien hangar, that's not true. I don't think that's very like it could hold some weight.
The alien stuff's underneath,
But
though. It's
much,
underground.
Yeah, it is much deeper. It's much more secretive, and it's much.
What
more
we can
widespread.
see of Area 51 isn't Area 51.
No, not at all. I don't think so.
No.
It's a sham.
Yes. The advanced technology from the crash was gradually integrated into human advancements, including stealth technology, fiber optics, and night vision. Yes, I believe that because it was a lot of years after, but it wasn't.
In hindsight,
they
it
made
wasn't
that-
that long.
They made that aircraft that couldn't be caught on radar.
Oh, are you talking about the Blackbird, or are you
Yeah.
talking about the other one?
The first one.
There's a couple stealth bombers that came out that were wrapped in something that, I wouldn't have thought any type of possible for any
Right.
type.
And
of
people
not
say
electronic,
that it was probably that because they found at Roswell they found this foil like
magic metal is what you call
yeah
it.
you ball it up and it would unfold itself
Mhm.
by itself.
Well, did you also know that more of recently too, they found out that they took a document from Roswell and they were able to take I think it was Bob Lazar that did it. He took the print itself and then had them enhance the document that was held by somebody. And the implications on the document are astounding because it basically says that you need to lie to everybody. What we found is definitely like a saucer-like craft. We recovered it, and what you saw is not the truth. And it's just written out there, and it's got like actual factual names of the like military officials that would have been in office or in seats of power at that time. Now, what that implicates, I don't know. Realistically, I think this has always been a lie to us in the first place. So, like, what you believe is what you believe, but like, take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean we know more about aliens publicly than we ever have before.
True, but like, what is that? Because the government is the one that's spoon feeding us that narrative too. So, like, they could
That is
twist
true.
it however they want.
That is true.
It could definitely be something completely.
They never told us where they're from.
No, that's the other thing. Is like, is it in our solar system? Is it out of our solar system? Like, what?
And haven't they
What are we
said
dealing
that they've talked to aliens? Like they've conversed with them?
I mean, if you think the Valiant Thor theory is correct, then yes. And then
I believe in
outside of
Valiant
that,
Thor. The
like,
Valiant Thor is kind of a crazy story. I know we've
Valiant
talked about
Thor
it
is
before,
insane.
but it is kind of a
the
unique
implications
story.
in that too as well are astounding, because if we were visited by a being and then we see this rise in disappearances in American citizens and probably a bunch of citizens all around the world, that is a little bit suspect. Maybe they are paying more attention to it now. But then why is there literal pictures of this random fucking guy with government officials at the Pentagon? It is a little auspicious if you think.
I don't know. I just know the aliens are real.
So I think people are going to love these ones because I love these ones. So many UFO sightings around Area 51 could be the secret tests for the aircraft that they've been working on. So I think these are maybe real, maybe not real. I don't know. But Project Aura, a hypersonic plane using anti-gravity tech.
Spy plane.
Where do you think that comes from? Backlogging alien tech. That's the only way I can think it works. And then we have the TR-3B Astra, a black triangular aircraft believed to be using electromagnetic propulsion. Once again.
Okay.
What?
You know about EMPs, right? Everyone know
yeah.
about EMPs?
I
They're
think so.
basically EMF bombs that the government uses to like knock out drones.
Okay. I'm listening.
Electric magnetic propulsion.
Also, here's the other
If
thing.
they can turn EMP into a bomb that shoots electric waves, do you think that they haven't figured out propulsion yet?
Truths. But have you ever seen when you look at cell phone towers, if you look at the polar patterns for like how they project their signals, it's like a flower. And it doesn't make any sense unless you start looking at it in like hindsight of like, maybe it's not just cell phones. Maybe they're using it as like a way to like set up an infrastructure for something else too. And now we're seeing all these fucking drones flying around. Maybe they're trying to like actually test in drones like this like ultrasonic propulsion that is like powering itself and it doesn't need any type of like combustible engine or battery. It basically just runs itself
So
off
it
of the
flies
signal.
over the 5G.
over that signal, and
okay.
it just
So
propels.
to like kind of explain it to y'all, it's kind of like bumper cars. So like
Yes, very much actually.
The waves of power from 5G would be like like electric waves that the bumper cart rides
Kind of
on.
like how the Amtrak too will sit off of the track and then ride it.
Yeah, Amtrak. There's another good example. Yeah.
I mean, this is all completely tangible theory. I am not
I mean,
an expert.
Amtrak is basically electrical magnetic
Oh, yeah.
motion.
I mean, it definitely is, and they go fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, that kind of makes so much sense,
A
actually.
little bit.
Thinking into that a little more. I'd heard about that not too long ago on like TikTok. I seen a video about what you just talked about,
Mhm.
and I started thinking about why that would be an important thing. And what you're talking about with the drones makes sense.
It would actually explain a lot for why the drone thing is happening. That's for sure. But then also the next one is one of the more like crazier ones, which was like the Tic Tac UFO that the USS Nimitz encountered, which was like non-human acceleration capabilities. That could also be a government test of some sort, but I don't think that was. I really don't think that was. What do you think it was? You know what I mean? Like they legitimately have that video. They have a bunch of sailors saying that this was definitely some
Yeah,
type
you
of
can hear
unmanned tech.
you can hear the pilots.
Go, holy shit!
Yeah, we've actually played it on the podcast. The whole clip. I don't remember what episode though.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like a mic drop too when you hear the guy go, holy shit!
What is that?
What is that? Yeah, and these are military people that are
This is a decorated
trained,
pilot.
yeah, and have been in the sky for hundreds and hundreds of hours, and they've probably seen nothing. And then one time, you see something. You see that one fucking instance of that isn't possible physically or any way, shape, or
Then
form
there's
in what we know.
the Navy, the people on the aircraft destroyer that
Mhm.
seen that UFO go into the water like multiple times. and was, like,
USOs are a
attacking them all
whole
night.
nother motherfucking deal, dude. We have so much more to talk about too. The sky and the sea, totally different beast. So this is fun. So this is where we get more into like the other places other than Area 51. So around the world there's black sites and they're fucking cool. So one is in Australia and this one is called Pine Gap. So it's located in the remote Australian outback, which everybody knows the Australian outback is fucking gnarly.
Yep.
Like, crikey, mate, you want to go get fucked up by a kangaroo?
Ain't no
That's where
shrimp
you
on the
go.
barbie out there, mate.
Fuck no. So near Alice Springs, it's one of the most secretive military installations in the world. Officially, it's a joint U.S.-Australian signals intelligence, so they call it SIG-INT, and satellite surveillance base, which already in that regard in its own right is fucking sketchy.
Wild.
Yeah, like they're looking at everybody and everything all at once, all the time. So, operated by the CIA, the NSA, and Australia's Defense Signals Directorate, I think is how you say that. The DSD.
DSD.
Never heard of it though. However, highly classified, the nature has fueled decades of speculation, particularly regarding its potential connections to the UFO, extraterrestrial technology, and deep underground facilities. Now, we all know you're going to hide some shit, you put it underground.
This is what you got to do.
That's what you do. You bury it. You bury the sketchy shit because then it's harder to come back up. But also,
You know how to get down.
ain't nobody going down there. There's one way in, one way out. That's why. So, like, that one's interesting.
And the other ways out is definitely teleporting. We all know that.
So, some of the reasons on why they think Pine Gap is so motherfucking like hotspot is like there's frequent UFO sightings, like a lot since the 1970s too. Says local visitors near Pine Gap have reported strange lights, fast-moving objects, and craft exhibiting flight capabilities beyond human technology. Some claim that these alien spacecraft, while others believe these experimental craft based on reverse engineered technology. Whichever one you want to call it, though, something's happening. People are seeing these things. It's not just like a smoke and mirrors trick. You know what I mean? Like this is way out there. Like I can't stress it enough that like the Australian outback is
wild.
Wild territory.
Dangerous.
You go out there unprepared, it will kill you. 100%.
100%.
No ifs, ands, or buts. And the fact that this base in particular is 100% a satellite in like monitor you infrastructure is even more crazy and creepy. And like the advanced satellite capabilities that this place has to have to be unbelievable. Like global surveillance, I would think. You know what I mean? Like not just like we'll monitor like across the pond over here. Like
no, they're watching
everybody.
the skies too, I bet.
Everything, everybody. Like they're probably like I would bet that they can look into space with that shit that they have too. 100%.
So there's electrical magnetic anomalies at this facility. Reports from former military personnel and local residents suggest unusual electromagnetic disturbances around Pine Gap, such as power fluctuations, GPS jamming, and even unexplained aircraft malfunctions.
Wild.
Some theorists link this to exotic energy sources, potentially reverse engineering from UFO technology.
I really love exotic energy sources, though. That sounds so fun. It's exotic as fuck, dog.
Yep, it's from deep space.
Mm-hmm.
Dark matter.
A dark matter rock that's just emitting fucking transmissions of like power. It's a Thanos rock.
Thanos.
just ooh. I mean, you can't go wrong with reverse engineering crap. Like, you know what I mean? Like every one of these bases, I think, has something in common. And I think the one thing in common is everybody thinks that they're reverse engineering technologies in these places, which, yeah,
they are.
They are. That, yeah, I don't see how you can pose a better moot point against it, where it's like, well, you put me at my wit's end here, because I think the sky's the limit. Like what our engineers could possibly do. Because I've seen some of my engineers at work, and it's like, you guys are, when you get going, you guys are fucking unstoppable. Like, this is wild. But I mean, there's also like Project Blue Book. Once again, we can reference back to that. There are 100% these very much so authentic, big ass files on, hey, they did all of this work on a crap. Like, they put money, time, and effort into like building this out. Is that not reverse engineering to you?
That is. It is. It is. How did y'all still explain jets that literally don't need to like use the runway? They just go.
Yeah, Harrier jets where they can literally like vertical takeoff too.
Yeah.
Huh? Who thought of that? How can you land a rocket that goes to space back on a platform that's about the size of like a quarter of a football field? Huh? What do you know?
Explain the boom and LED lights out of just nowhere. I feel like that just happened, and then it was just
technology's jump is light speed compared to what it was back in the day too. That's the other thing that like I don't think we give enough credit to is how do we go from being in the Stone Ages and like burning all of our libraries to like having to rebuild everything that we've known once, and then next thing you know, it's like, hey, you guys ever heard of the internet? A cell phone?
AI?
Did you know that I can fucking talk to this and it'll tell me exactly what I want to hear?
You're mine Bitcoin?
No, yeah, that's the other thing. You could what? But there's so many places.
Like
so,
Autech.
I was gonna say this one is cool as fuck.
Atlantic Area 51 and its UFO connection. The U.S. Navy's Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center, Autech, located on Andros Island in the Bahamas, is one of the most mysterious military installations in the world. Officially, Autech is a submarine and sonar testing facility where advanced naval technology is developed and evaluated. However, conspiracy theorists suggest that Autech may serve as a far more emmetic role, monitoring unidentified submerged objects, experimenting with alien technology, and possibly even concealing an underwater extraterrestrial base deep beneath the Bermuda Triangle.
Yes to all of that. 100%. You can't tell me that there is nothing underneath our waters. I believe 1 billion% that the reason that there are so many fluctuations over Bermuda and in certain parts of like just the ocean, which if there is natural phenomena occurring like that, I would think it would be happening more often in other places too. Not only just over water, but if like this is like a ley line bullshit, like this or that, no. I think there are bases that, once again, the exotic energy sources that are playing complete hell with all of the electronics that are not normally subjected to that stuff. And then the other thing is, there are hundreds of, I would even go on thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of accounts of sailors, go Navy, that have seen these things on open ocean. There's nothing around. There is no reason for anything to be going in or out of the ocean at that point. And there's videos of these.
I'm a 2-time survivor of the Bermuda Triangle. Just so y'all know.
Represent. But I'm reminisced because, once again, like, a lot of our best evidence that has been posed came from the Navy, came from these like ships that have been out at sea for
Navy,
months.
Air Force.
Yeah, and they just happen to witness a phenomena that is unexplainable. So unexplainable.
So Autek is located within the Bermuda Triangle, a region notorious for mysterious aircrafts and ships appearances. Some researchers believe that the triangle is home to an interdimensional portal and advanced alien bases, or a natural anomaly that allows for strange craft to enter and exit our world, like a portal or something. Or wormhole. That's probably what it is.
Fuck
Some
it,
type
we got
of
a black hole.
wormhole.
We got the ass of the black hole from somewhere in space that every time something comes through, it's shitting out into the ocean.
Yep.
We got
Makes sense. World's kind of ass. I'm not gonna lie.
World's kind of ass.
The
Good
connection
man.
between Autek and these
Incidents.
incidents raise questions. Is the Navy merely studying natural phenomenon, or are they concealing knowledge of something not of this earth?
No, not knowledge of this earth. There is nothing. They're 100% concealing bullshit from us. Like, this is real. We got high-speed flying watercraft, bro. Like, you tell me. So, I mean, what are you gonna do with numerous reports? Like, I mean, fishermen, navymen, just people out there are seeing these things. And so, I mean, how fast do boats usually go, Riley?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on the size of the boat, really.
500 miles an hour sound pretty good to you?
Not for a boat.
So some of these like submersibles are said to be traveling basically 500 miles per hour in like the nautical like mile per
Underwater.
hour talk. Yeah, underwater at that. Now, I don't know about you, but barometric pressures and currents and just
I don't even know if that's possible.
the viscosity of water itself, having to knife
Is that
through
even
it to go
possible?
that fast.
How fast does a torpedo go? Anybody know how fast? Butters, you know how fast a torpedo goes underwater?
I would bet like 30 miles an hour at most. I would think if it's just
Because
like
they're not made to go
streamlined.
fast. They're just made to hit their target and explode.
Would that be 30? Would 30 knots be miles per hour? I'm so uneducated. In
I
that
don't know
shit.
how nuts
Help,
work to
friends.
miles per hour.
I don't either. But then it's like these sonar stations too, like we were just talking about. Well, they're pinging all of that information off of everything on the seabed. They're pinging everything all the time through that vastness that is water. And water is a great conductor. So I would assume that their technology is like really, really advanced enough to see very far through the waters. That's classified. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that classification. We love you. That's hilarious. Well, Steve, this is why we ask the questions. But like when you get those like, you know, those blips like how a fucking dolphin would, what do you think when you see something that's like large and moving that fast? Like, that's not possible. Like, once again,
No. And how are these objects going into known deep sea trenches?
that we have never seen the bottom of, nor can get to if we even wanted to.
Have we even been to the bottom of Marianas
No, dude,
Trench?
the Marianas Trench is unreachable. Like, at least as far as I know, that we have not touched the actual factual bottom of the ocean because of the pressure differences yet. And like, if they did, it probably would take a very long time. And I might just be talking straight out of my booty cheeks. I don't know, but like, as far as I was told,
It
that
was
the Marianas Trench
56
is-
kilometers.
it's hundreds of miles.
No, it's not.
It's a lot, dude.
30 knots. That's got. I mean, you said 30 knots.
I did say 30 knots. Also, do it in miles an hour. Like 30 knots is kilometers. I'm not from the UK. I wish I could convert.
It says it
UK.
on my, speedometer, but I don't really pay attention to those.
That's funny. But I mean, so like they're 100% tracking these submersible objects. There's no doubt about it. Like I think 100% we aren't able to go down there, and if we are technologically advanced enough to go down there, they're not giving us that tech. They don't want us to know they're down there. Why would they? Like there would be no actual reason for us to interact with these beings that are just using us for whatever fucking reason they are.
Who knows what? Update on Tommy Yaw. His power is out.
And he is down for the count. I'm gonna give him the count. 1, 2, 3. He's out. He's not the champion anymore. Belt goes here. Oh, poor Tommy. Please be safe, everybody. And again, like these storms are wild, popped up out of nowhere. Fucking Mother Nature really was in a tizzy today and wanted to swing her broom around. So
this past year, past two, since 2024, man.
It's the good.
Mother Nature has been trying to kill us.
A very good point to say. Take care of nature, please. It hurts when we don't, and it's showing.
It is.
So underwater alien bases and advanced technologies. You know what I mean? Like Autech. Once again, did you ever know? Have you ever heard of this place before this either? I've never really heard of any installation like this.
But I don't know.
Like,
could have been something else.
There's also rumors that there are like digging involved in these underwater aquatic bases. So like the military installations where, I don't know about you, but like if you listen to the podcast, this is actually a great site. I'm shameless plug. I'm sorry, you guys. If you do listen to the podcast episodes, currently I'm in episode 2 of a part 4 series of an oil rig that was abandoned that has an underwater facility underneath it where they're boring into the earth. It's spooky. It's great. But I don't think that's really out of the realm of like, science fiction. I think that could be fictional bullshit happening at this point. Like, I don't think it's not, too out of the norm.
We have underwater stuff. Like we built underwater.
Oh yeah, installations for sure. But like, I think legitimately, like there might be like something in the Earth's core, or like they're trying to get to that like hollow core that it's like, hey, this is where all the cool shit is hiding. Like maybe if we nuke it, and then we'll be the like straight up bosses again. I don't know. That's just how our government thinks. That's terrible.
We're just gonna find the underworld and then we're gonna nuke it and start over.
Now there's not a hell. We all can do what we want. This is fucking eternity.
Oh shit. I didn't think about that, y'all. What if people did find like an underwater city and they thought it was hell, so they just nuke it to get rid of hell? Oh my God. Damn, that's deep, Trev.
That sometimes you gotta let it flow, dog.
Get it? That's deep.
That's deep.
Okay, we're sorry. Sorry, we're done with the bad jokes.
Bad jokes indeed. That's so funny. So there aren't just, like these places. Like there's also like the more secretive bases that I think are happening like underneath some mountains. Like was it Mount Weather is a good indication. Like is it the 100 where it's Mount Weather or Mount Rainier or whatever it is?
Mount Weather.
Back in the day, they used to literally bore through mountains. I don't think it would be that out of the question at that point to bore into a mountain. And once again, you are now shelled in with the thickest armor that you didn't need to pay for. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
nothing's going to knock down a mountain. And if it does, that's like, you're lucky to live through that probably.
It's food for thought for sure. And like, I think it's just so fascinating that it's like, it's not just like
just UFOs, hell isn't the place. We don't know that. After what Trevor just said, we don't know anymore.
We nuked it in 1930.
1930
when we were testing the atomic bombs.
Hell's probably a good testing site, I would think.
Or hear me out. This is another funny thing. There was one nuclear test that was done underground, and it happened in Texas somewhere. I forgot the city, but there was a manhole cover that was, like on a street that was technically connected to where the nuclear bomb was being tested at. Well, there was this high motion speed capture camera that went off. It captured exactly one frame of it because it was moving at like, I don't know, 3,000 miles an hour and went into the stratosphere from the amount of pressure that it pushed it out of the road. So it's like, hold the phone. We've blown nukes up underground before. They know what they're doing. You never know.
That could have been hell exploding.
That's the first attempt. They said hell's under Texas. Blow it up. Oh my god, that's so funny. But aliens, like we can never escape the true fact that they're real. Anunnaki have been here for millions of years. We just talked about the pyramids. We already know that the pyramids were built by aliens, and now that there's something underneath the alien structures, I'm going to just go on a limb and say they're alien structures.
I know. I mean, we've talked about our UFO experiences so many different times on this podcast that, like, it's almost hard for me not to believe in aliens
Mhm.
and especially military involvement with aliens.
That's what I'm saying. And Tommy's video of the
Bell
yellow.
Gunners.
Was it Bell Gunners? I was saying it was Bell Gunners. It wasn't the Yellow Motel. It was definitely Bell Gunners. But he captured something that once again, I don't know what that could have been. There's no way, shape, or form that any type of light, that color, or the way that it rose through the tree line that it did could have been anything else. They're out there. You just gotta look. And then it just begs the question of like, was that like natural or unnatural?
Oh, we got a
There's
cat
a
in my lap.
Milo. Hi, cat. See, he said Buttons does this. Why can't I?
Yep, I've seen the streams before.
I've watched a couple of streams before. You might have been a Texan sheriff in the past life, right?
No, I think we got it figured out. I was a Texan that was in World War II who was a medic.
I think so. I feel like you were an oil man before that.
I died jumping
Out of the plane.
Yeah,
You were one. You were probably part of the 101.
That's how I explain
yeah.
my irrational fear of heights, because I have no reason to be scared of heights. I've never fallen.
Yeah, but irrational fears. That's the other thing. We should touch this just a little bit since it's pretty early on in the night. But like irrational fears, what do we think they are? Do we think that like the past life theory it holds true? Where I have an irrational fear of horses, and I know that sounds hilarious, but I wonder if I was fucking gored by a horse in my past life or kicked in the face and died. Because like
That shit happens.
my sister owns 2 horses, and I am fucking terrified when I'm around them. Like her horse started like running around on its own and like doing some weird shit, and I was like, I'm in actual factual fear right now.
Like, I believe that our spirit, like, you got to think about, why isn't there ghosts from now? I think if your
That's
spirit
another thing too.
does move on, like,
Why isn't
truly
immediate? What? Well, and time is relative. Like we look at time in such a linear way. We don't really know what that is. But you're right. Why is it mostly old-timey hauntings is how it feels?
Yeah.
It's a very good question to pose. And like, do you think that good fortune comes around because of like energies as well? So like say you're a good person in life, right? You have lots of good luck, good energy. And then when you pass on, do you think you're like you have less shackles, or I don't even want to call them shackles, but like more ability to like manipulate
it
the
goes
energies and things like that?
more about what you did with that good luck, what you turned that energy into. If you turned it into something negative, then
True.
it's not going to move on as something positive.
Right. Well, and then another good question to pose too is like if we're going to move on into an afterlife and then be reincarnated. I know this is a complete tangent at this point, but I'm so here for it.
Yeah.
Do you think we get like transitioned into possible different dimensions? And then if that is so, would that not make these craft that we could see potentially just man-made craft from another dimension that is on the same regard that we're on? So they're not necessarily like extraterrestrial beings, but they're us with higher technology.
That's a little beyond me.
I know that's a very like hard one to pose.
Creepy Confidential. I was reading about that and found it interesting. You never see a ghost in the 80s, attire and sneakers.
No, you don't. You just don't ever see ghosts in sneakers or like even like anything above like the 50s is how I feel.
So interesting. So Mythos Paranormal has a really good video on this that he released recently.
Oh yeah, State of the Union. Here we go. Let's drop this shit.
But there's basically like a lot of religious people during the Middle Ages. And that's a lot of the spirits that we see are like that kind of era.
Of that time frame for sure.
But I guess in the US it would be more of like when the religious era was really going on here.
Yeah,
I don't know what do we call that?
I would call it the
Era.
spiritual, like the era of
spiritualist-
spiritualism.
The
Yeah,
spirit, yeah, the era of
the witch
spiritualism.
trials. I
So we'll
guess.
just stick to that for now, but because that's what a lot of us see, I think.
Yeah.
But like because of that connection with the spirituality, I think that's why
Mhm.
there's ghosts there. Nowadays, there isn't as much of a connection to life and death.
It does feel a
People
lot
kind of just like
looser.
I live every day how I like. I live for
You
the
gotta
next
live
day.
free, man.
Yeah,
I'm
you know,
so
like
sorry.
that's just how people live
But that,
nowadays.
yeah, that's that, and that's like, I feel like you're right. Like it does feel much more like we haven't
that-
strayed too far from the path, but like
right.
it's not
Death
as
still
like
hurts. but-
destined for like, you know, like, hey, like there is the afterlife. I want the afterlife. I want to be able to like come back and like interact here. I feel like it's more like loosey goosey. Like, well, if I go, I go. Whatever. I do what I fucking want.
YOLO.
Yeah, and like Jess said it perfectly too. You don't see like straight up Ghost and Juicy, like straight up tracksuits. Like you don't get like the responses where it's like, yo, homie, you want to talk? What's up? What's up, fam? None of that. It's usually very proper old talk. And I mean, I'm still trying to find out what that could be or why that is. Teased big hair, man. See, what once okay. The other thing is like when we get a little older and a little bit more into the field, you know, a little bit later in life, and we're still doing this, are we gonna see a change in like the spirits where it goes from being the older ones to also now you get like the hey LaFonda, what you doing? You know what I mean? Like it's more just like sitcom
lit.
based like bullshit. Yeah. And it's like
brain rot comments.
this is like 90s era stuff. Like I'm not against it. I think that would be a lot of fun to get like that nostalgic ghost hunting vibe where it's
It'd
like
be kind of. I don't know how I'd feel about that.
I would feel
Be
old.
someone that like. I don't know. That's weird.
But also it's like the flip side of like the people that say like you walk into a room and you see a family eating. And then that family looks up and basically like you make eye contact and then you both flip back to wherever existence you were. Maybe you just on a different dimension. Maybe you just time traveled. Maybe what we see is time traveling. Maybe these entities that are spirits are more so on like a different dimensional being than us. And like that is what ghost is. But it could just be a form of time travel. And we just don't know.
What if ghost sightings had connections to do with like aliens, like somehow? Like if think of it like this. So like maybe they're using a lot of like natural power that just gets absorbed.
Oh, and
So
it's
like
loosening the veil, so we're
so
seeing
like
that.
it snaps like reality.
So every supernatural encounter that we have is actually an extraterrestrial encounter of its own right because the veil has been loosened by the aliens coming to visit us. And when the veil
like,
loosens, we
top
start
it.
seeing the other side of things or the time
Because
traveling
like
and the slips.
think about this too. Like what if they're going back into time to like see our like to evaluate our changes? Like that's how they do it. Instead of like pulling up a file of videos to be like, okay, what were they doing here? They just go, well, let's go to it and see what they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah,
And they just show up in the fucking.
It's basically like pulling up an old video out of your folder. Like it literally is. And it's just like, let me just like, all right, that's exactly how they did that. Let's do that differently. Dude,
I don't
that's
know. It's some out there thinking, y'all, but that's what we do here.
maybe that's not all hauntings though. Like residual hauntings are different for sure. Like you go to like a place that has been spiritually charged with energy by an event, a generational like family living there for 15 plus like generations. Like there's a lot to that too, and there's a lot of stock to that. But
Stone
also
tape theories always on the table.
we live for the theories here.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't tell already, like the tangent train runs very strong.
Yeah.
Like, we
Especially
follow that track.
when we end on a topic and we're just like, okay, we're just gonna talk about whatever we want to talk about with y'all.
Right. And I seen in the comments, Patty, yeah, Tommy was going to be our guest tonight, but his power unfortunately is out because of these nasty storms that are hitting the Midwest and coming up through all of the Panhandle and all of Tornado Alley. So everybody that's out there, please be safe tonight.
Yeah, because one could hit you even when you don't expect it right now.
Yeah, like the other night, I was just standing out on the porch letting the dog out, and all of a sudden it just started like raining sideways, and I had trees falling down, and I was like, cool, that's fucking sick. Like, I guess that's what we're doing. But I mean, dude, what do you think? Like, do you think it's time travel? Do you think it's alien theories? Do you think it's ghosts? Could it be all three and banded into one? Do you think cryptids are aliens? We could just fucking go on
Sasquatch
and on.
is an alien.
That's true. I mean, I already believe that one though. Sasquatch definitely, like the fact that we don't have any like remains to Sasquatch tells me he's more intelligent.
Mothman, all aliens.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, maybe they are like those three beings are actually the type of aliens that we didn't know were actually here, and and they are the government behind the government that are pulling all the strings. And like when you see them out in the woods, it's because
Oh
they're
my
like going
gosh.
to their like super duper secret black site where they're pulling the government strings.
We are not in Kansas anymore.
No, we are far from Kansas anymore.
Far
We
from-
were gonna talk about secret alien bases. Now I got cats going, hello.
That was wild.
Yeah, dude, that cat's wild. I don't
That
know.
sounded like a person.
Yeah, she in the
Actually
middle of
tripped
the
me out.
night.
You guys probably didn't hear that, but his cat just went meow, and it sounded like someone yelling,
Yeah,
"I'm out here" or something. I
yeah.
don't know.
Gilda 100% will like she'll do the jowl meow, but she'll go hello, and it's so weird. I don't know how, why, or who. Why
But
cats are weird.
anyways, that's probably a good spot to end it for tonight. Y'all, we absolutely love you. If you're new here and you enjoyed, make sure you tune in pretty much every Wednesday and hang out with us, participate in the chat, and like, subscribe, do all that. We're trying to reach 1,000
Mhm.
subscribers, like we said
We'll
earlier.
do a polar plunge when it's cold. It's starting to warm up.
Yeah, we're hoping to do it way sooner, but
We're
it is
getting
what it
there.
is. And with that being said, folks, remember, keep your ears and eyes open for what really goes.
Bump in the night. Love you guys. Stay safe out